Today, we're diving into the absolutely incredible story of a 17th century Indian saint, a man who wrote prophecies on palm leaves that centuries later seem to describe our modern world with, well, chilling accuracy. So the big question is, how on earth did he do it?
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? Could someone living way back in the 1600s actually see our world? Well, before you decide, let's look at some of his most famous predictions that have people totally convinced.
He wrote this down in the 17th century. And what happens just about a century later? The British East India Company begins its takeover, leading to almost 200 years of rule by, you guessed it, fair-faced people. I mean, the timing is just startling.
Okay, now think about the world back then. The fastest you could possibly go was on horseback, but here he is writing about non-living vehicles moving around. That's a shockingly perfect description of cars, trains, and planes, the very things that define our modern life, all invented centuries after he was gone.
This one might be the wildest of them all, especially for our time. Images on the screen would rule countries. Seriously? Decades before movies were even a concept, he seemed to predict an age where actors and media figures, people like N.T. Rama Rao in India or even Arnold Schwarzenegger in the US, would climb to the very top of the political ladder. It's uncanny.
So who was this guy? Well, he's often called the Nostradamus of India, but his real name was Sri Pothuluri Veera Brahmendra Swamy. He was known as a Kalagnanam, a title that literally translates to one who knows time. So to put him on the map, he lived from 1608 to 1693 in what we now call Andhra Pradesh. But as you're about to see, calling him a prophet is really only half the story. The man himself was an absolute revolutionary. Yeah, beyond all the mind-bending prophecies, Veera Brahmendra was a radical social reformer. He was a rebel who looked at the society he lived in and challenged its very foundations. His life was just this remarkable journey. I mean, he was showing spiritual gifts from a super young age, writing a major work when he was only 11. And get this, he wrote his famous book of prophecies, the Kalagnanam, while working as a humble cowherd. Eventually, he established a spiritual center where he chose to enter Jiva Samadhi, a profound state where a saint is buried alive, believing they've moved beyond physical death.
In an era of super rigid social rules, he dropped this powerful, logical bomb on the caste system. His point was so simple, so beautiful. If we all eat the food from the same earth, worked by the same tools, how can we be different? He wasn't just talking about some far-off future. He was demanding a better, more equal present. And you know, he didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. He shattered every social rule of his time by welcoming disciples from every background. His inner circle included Siddhaya, who was Muslim, and Kakaya, who was from the so-called untouchable community. This was a direct, radical challenge to everything that society stood for. And his forward thinking didn't stop there. He was also centuries ahead on gender equality. In the 1600s, he predicted that in the Kali Yuga, which is the cosmic age we're in right now, women would rule the earth. Today, a lot of people look at that and see a clear prediction of leaders like India's own Indira Gandhi.
You know, a bit like the Buddha, he also spoke out against blind faith and superstition. He basically urged his followers to look for truth inside themselves, not in lifeless statues. He wanted people to think, to question, not just to perform rituals without any real understanding. Okay, so now that we know the rebel, the reformer behind the prophecies, let's get back to his most famous work, the Kalagnanam, which means the knowledge of time. And the scale of this thing is just immense. We're talking about a collection of over 14,000 prophecies, all written in Telugu poetry. It covers everything from global politics to bizarre natural events. The sheer variety of his predictions is incredible. He wrote about kings losing their thrones and the rise of democracy. He predicted a kind of social decay where money would matter more than a person's actual merit. And he even foresaw really strange things, both in nature and at holy sites, like a famous temple idol literally crying tears.
So how do we make sense of this person today? Is he a prophet? A reformer? Well, the truth is, you can't really separate the two.
You've really got these two sides of him, and they're completely connected. On one side, you have the prophet, the guy who wrote the Kalagnanam, the Nostradamus of India. But on the other, you have the reformer, the one who fought the caste system, stood up for women, and promoted a universal spirituality for everyone.
And believe me, his influence is anything but ancient history. His main spiritual center is still a huge pilgrimage destination. His message against caste continues to inspire marginalized communities with hope. And his prophecies? Oh yeah, they are still being hotly debated today. He even predicted his own return, saying he'd come back to protect good people when things get chaotic.
So that really brings us to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. When we look back at Veera Brahmendra Swamy, what's his true legacy? Is it his mind-boggling ability to see the future, or was it his timeless, relentless fight for a better, more equal world? Now that is something to think about.